Something is deeply wrong with the Stranger Things ending. Not confusing. Not open to interpretation. Wrong. Fake endings. Missing registrations. Memories that don't belong to the characters. Symbols that contradict established reality. Clues hiding in plain sight. Vecna may not be gone. 11 may not even be alive. And the finale mirrors past fake conclusions so closely that it starts to feel intentional. Doors flip direction. Time disappears. Posters hint at alternate outcomes. Characters behave like distorted versions of themselves, close, but not quite right. And one overlooked detail has the potential to rewrite who is trapped, who is free, and what this world actually is. Miss it, and the ending doesn't make sense. This is the conformity gate theory, one of the most extreme television theories ever created. And yet, it isn't built on nothing. As wild as it sounds, the evidence is disturbingly consistent. Today, we're breaking down every piece of it, separating deliberate clues from possible misdirection, production errors, and coincidence. At its core, the theory claims this. Mike and the entire core group who confronted Vecna never truly woke up. Like the children we've seen before, they are trapped inside Vecna's trance, living inside a fabricated reality constructed from recycled memories. Whether or not a secret episode ever releases, this theory fundamentally changes how Episode 8, and all of Season 5, should be interpreted. The number 7 sits at the center of everything. At first, many believed it pointed to a real-world date. But when the Season 5 documentary was officially announced for the 5th, the timeline no longer lined up. Then something strange happened. The WSQ broadcast returned late on the 11th, just before the documentary, and again right after it released on the 12th. This was the same broadcast that once told listeners to turn it all the way up to 11. It included hidden messages warning that the town had been taken over and urging people to wake up. Even the hosts' names, Mindy Flair and Vance, read like deliberate wordplay. Mind Flayer. Vecna. Then came the official WSQ torches. Under black light, a message appears inside the box. Vecna lives. If this was all meant to tease January 7th, what actually dropped instead was a Netflix promotional video for 2026 content. But even that promo was soaked in symbolism. A tarot narrator says, "This year, you will question everything," as the Justice card appears, marked with the Roman numeral 11 and illustrated in a way that strongly resembles 11 herself. The cards flip. Her voice echoes. Viewers are told to rethink everything. One actress shown closely resembles a young Joyce. In an earlier teaser, a poster sits behind her while Will stands in frame, until a bus passes and blocks Will, Mike, and 11 from view. You can call it coincidence. I don't. Especially not when the entire campaign revolves around deception, symbolism, and hidden meaning. The card number was 11, and the most unsettling line attached to the campaign was simple. This year, you will be deceived, and you will enjoy it. Many who study the conformity gate theory never believed January 7th mattered. Some pointed instead to March 22nd, the date of the Hawkins massacre and Will's birthday. A date the show awkwardly aligned with the camera but never acknowledged on screen. Others believe the clue was misread entirely. What if 7 isn't a day, but a month? July, the 7th month, also marks the 10-year anniversary of the show. Then there's the documentary itself. In its trailer, a whiteboard appears behind the creators listing major finale moments. Demogorgon attacks, while confronting the Mind Flayer, events that never actually happen. Not a single Demogorgon appears in the abyss. When asked why Will didn't seem affected by the damage to the Mind Flayer, the response was vague. He was affected, but viewers didn't see it. Why wasn't it shown? Why wasn't it filmed? Or was it removed? The whiteboard doesn't outline the season. It outlines Episode 8. Something was taken out. It gets stranger. Episodes 5 through 8 were never registered the way they legally must be to become official episodes. Until that happens, they are classified as long-form promotional content. Fans who attended theatrical screenings didn't receive tickets, only vouchers. Almost as if Netflix avoided legally selling something that wasn't technically real. According to the theory, the conformity gate begins the moment Mike senses Vecna and is knocked unconscious in episode 4. If everything after that point was never registered, what if nothing after episode 4 is real? Look closely at that scene. Mike's eyes go unnaturally dark, something that happens to no other character. In D&D, certain spells cause blindness. Later during the campaign, Mike sends Will to a town ruled by Strahd, a place where everyone conforms and pretends to be happy under control. The show keeps reinforcing sleep, exhaustion, and distorted memory, while drinking coffee repeatedly. Mike's zoning out after noticing a wrinkle in time, a book about an evil force controlling reality through conformity. These details are not random. Vecna doesn't kill Mike's parents. He wants Mike broken, traumatized, distressed like his other victims. Even physical reality slips. A soldier urinates in the upside down, and it evaporates instantly. No water, suggesting later scenes may not be physically real. Mike's severe arm injury vanishes, just like Max walking only while trapped in a trance. On the Season 5 poster, the Mind Flayer visually links Mike and Henry. Vecna draws heavily from A Nightmare on Elm Street. The 7th film, New Nightmare, takes place in the real world, where the villain escapes fiction because the story ended. That mirrors the idea of Vecna surviving once the narrative concludes. So what if episode 9 isn't a normal episode at all? What if it's the documentary? Games reinforce the idea. Dig Dug revealed tunnels beneath Hawkins. Ghosts and Goblins tells players the ending is an illusion, and to get the real ending, you must replay the game under harder conditions. Even interviews feel evasive. Cast members joke, deflect, except one. Eddie's campaign references Vecna living, losing an arm, losing an eye. In the finale, Vecna loses his left arm, and his left eye is never clearly shown. Memories bleed between characters. Will recalls milkshakes from a store that never served them, but they existed in Henry's past. He fondly remembers getting lost in the woods, something traumatic for him, but not for Henry. The song Heroes plays again, just like every other fake ending. Exit signs linger in frame. Watches show no time. Graduation robes are orange, not black. Prison colors. Characters adopt the traits they once feared becoming. Parents, abusers, controllers. The world feels too neat, too comfortable, too wrong. Because that's the easiest reality for Vecna to build. A false future, a compliant ending. And the most terrifying question remains unanswered. Is 11 actually still alive? This theory didn't spread because it was fun. It spread because too many things line up. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If the conformity gate theory is wrong, then Stranger Things made an unprecedented number of deliberate mistakes at the exact moments where reality fractures. Mistakes that conveniently align with the show's own rules about memory, dreams, illusion, and control. Mistakes that echo past fake endings, repeated musical cues, mirrored imagery, and deliberate callbacks to moments where the audience was previously misled. And that's the real issue here. This ending doesn't just feel unfinished, it feels constructed, as if the show didn't end in victory, but in compliance. A version of reality where everything is neat, comfortable, and emotionally resolved at the cost of truth. Throughout the entire series, Stranger Things has taught us one core lesson. When things feel too calm, something is wrong. The upside down doesn't announce itself loudly. It slips in quietly, through memory, through routine, through comfort, through characters accepting futures they once feared. That's exactly what we see at the end. The kids don't win, they settle. They don't escape, they adapt. They don't confront the future, they inherit the past. Nancy and Mike becoming their parents isn't growth, it's surrender. Max echoing Billy isn't healing, it's contamination. Well, romanticizing trauma isn't peace, it's distortion. And 11. 11's story is the most disturbing of all, because the ending never actually proves she survives outside the gate. It only implies it, and implication has never been enough in this show. When death was real, it was shown. When survival was real, it was earned. But here, we're asked to accept it without confirmation, without grounding, without consequence. That absence matters, especially when the show repeatedly teaches us that missing details are how false realities reveal themselves. The wrong color, the wrong direction, the wrong memory, the wrong song at the wrong time. And once you understand that, the final moments stop feeling like closure. They feel like containment. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. Even if there is no episode 9, even if the documentary never reveals a hidden truth, even if Netflix never openly confirms any of this, the theory still works. Because the story already told us what happens when characters are trapped in a fabricated world. They stop asking questions. They accept what they're given. They move forward without resistance. And the audience is expected to do the same. That's the real conformity gate. Not a physical door. Not a portal. But a psychological one. A point where the story dares you to stop thinking. And that's why this theory refuses to die. Because it doesn't rely on a future reveal to be meaningful. It reframes everything you've already seen. It turns comfort into a warning, resolution into a red flag, and nostalgia into a trap. So here's the question you need to ask yourself, not as a fan, but as a viewer who's been paying attention. If Stranger Things wanted to tell a clean ending, why leave so many intentional fractures? Why mirror every past fake ending? Why repeat deception motifs so openly? Why lean so heavily into stories about fabricated realities, staged performances, and false victories, right at the end? And most importantly, why does the finale feel more like a pause than a conclusion? Because stories don't usually end by teaching you to stop questioning. They end by answering them. This one doesn't. And maybe that's the point. So here's the call to action. Don't accept the ending at face value. Go back, rewatch the finale with this lens. Pay attention to what's missing, not just what's shown. Look at the props, the dialogue, the framing, the moments where characters feel slightly off, the scenes that resolve too easily, the emotions that don't match the history. Ask yourself, who benefits from this version of reality? Then come back here. If you notice something new, comment it. If a detail clicked for you, share it. If this theory unsettled you, good. That means it worked. Because the moment everyone stops questioning the ending, that's when the gate fully closes. And if you want more breakdowns like this, where we don't just watch stories but interrogate them, subscribe. This isn't the last time we're pulling at this thread. Because if the conformity gate is real, the story isn't over yet. It's just pretending to be.